All right, I'm recording. It's sharing screen, right? On what? Share screen. Screen two. Yeah, I can just do this. Presenter view. There we go. All right, we should be good. The thing off. Isn't it? It's like, yeah. I see why professors run into problems with this. What? How do you get rid of it? Okay. Hello, hello. I think we're good. All right. Today we're going to be talking about Fullstack. My name's Steven. No. Annoying. If you haven't filled out attendance, do that now. Attendance. It helps us fund meetings. I'll give you guys a second for that. We all good? Let's see. Okay. It does help. Thank you, Prom. Okay. So a couple of announcements before we get started. Next week, we have a presentation on content managers by Eric. He's an ex-president, a legend around here. The week after that is internship survival guide. And if you didn't get an internship, we have a presentation for you, helping you prepare for an internship in the future and getting ready over the summer. And then the week after that is lightning talks and elections. If you want to apply to be a member of the board, there's applications in the Discord, I think in the announcements. So the first thing is, if there's a couple of like demos, if you want to get if you want to do it, you kind of don't need Postman, but you would need Node.js in order to interact with the front end. Rewards at the end. So if you can get it working and figure it out. So Fullstack, it's a mix of front end, back end, and everything in between. You need to know more than one thing. The reality is, in modern day, if you just know front end, it's not going to be useful. It's helpful, for example, in Intro to SWE. There's very much times where you are going to end up doing a majority of the work, and you don't know exactly what you're going to be doing. Understanding different aspects can help you a lot. So there's a little. So the first thing we're going to talk about is front end, or front end, back end, and database. That's the big mix of. Also, I want to preface this. If you have any questions throughout the entire meeting, just shout them out. This is supposed to be interactive. There's a lot of things that we just can't cover, and if you're wondering about them, ask questions. That helps. So the first thing is front end. Obviously, all HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and any of the many JavaScript frameworks out there. And then the backend, anything you want. There's hundreds of backends. And then databases, relational, not relational, SQL, NoSQL, whatever you desire. The first thing is front end. Front end is literally just UI that allows users to interact with and build with. It's usually primarily built with JavaScript, HTML, CSS. It's primarily the part of the website that you interact with. We're very simple. Like if you have questions, ask. Like we just there's. So The big thing is HTML or CSS, HTML, hypertext, markup language. If you've ever tried to make a WordPress website or something random like that, it's basically the structure and content of your page. The CSS is actually the drawing of your page, so the color, size, portion. It's been changing in recent years and how it's been used, but it's still important today. Nowadays, there's alternatives. For example, like component libraries, like Tailwind, style components like material devised, and preprocessors like SCSS make it a lot easier. Yes. Well, because a lot of apps nowadays are more reactive. I'm gonna get to that in a minute, but it's like JavaScript frameworks are more reactive and they need more things. And you don't want to be coding in basic CSS for something that doesn't require basic CSS or needs to be more involved. Or so yeah, I was going to talk about front end nowadays. A lot changed. We're no longer just HTML and CSS. There's hundreds of frameworks out there, an uncountable amount. The most popular React, Angular, Vue, and Svelte, of course. It's more reactive to fit modern needs. It's kind of ironic because even today, most of the websites are still built on jQuery. Shout out jQuery 4 just came out recently. But yeah, any questions? Okay. So moving on to backend, we're literally keeping server-side logic and database interactions. It basically functions as a bridge between the database server and the front end. The primary thing is the server processes client requests, Python, Ruby, or Golang, stuff like that. This is basically it helps bring stuff that needs to go to the front end, or it organizes the requests. The database just stores data. We'll talk about databases and API in a minute, but simplification, API is just communication between servers. The API, it's just how programs communicate with each other. Two options, request for response, which are static, which means if there's, which basically the main difference is stateless communication, but static is basically I send a request out, I get a response back. It doesn't require previous connection to be made. The other thing is the big one is ref. This sends JSON requests, JSON queries through HTTP. It's stateless because previous connections don't have to be made for communication to be formed each time. There's also SOAP, which is similar to REST, but it only uses XML, whereas for REST, it can use more than just JSON. It's not the only thing it does. And then real-time dynamic, that's what you're thinking of for like video games. So for example, when you load in a sprite or something for a video game, it needs to load in quick. It needs to know, so it has to have that connection already pre-made, and they don't have time to communicate, hey, oh, we're connected, or did they get it? It's different depending on situation, but okay. So we're gonna move on to an API demo. HDMI, and we built this. I built this. Oh, wait, is it only gonna be on that side? Oh wait, there we go. I guess we can do that. Yeah, we'll talk about it in a second. Hold on. I got a screen share. Yeah, it's just me. So basically, Flask is, oh my, it's because, oh, I see. Just do.
And make sure you stop the screen share on the
okay.
desktop.
That should work. Okay. Okay, that's fine. So Flask is a Python API. The big thing about APIs is they go through HTTP requests. especially for web-based APIs like Flask. There's the primary methods are get, post, delete, put, and I think, and like options, but that doesn't really matter. So we created this route for Candy. Basically there's post, get, and delete functions. You can see right there. As it receives the request coming from the front end, it checks what type of request it is. If it's a post request, it parses through the JSON and it checks for the name and Candy. If it's not there, it'll say you said it wrong and return a message to whoever sent it. If it is in the JSON, then it will create an object and add it to the right now it's just a dictionary. Don't use a dictionary, use a database or something of that matter.
Sorry for the wait.
Yeah. Here.
They went to the other side because they thought you can't went to the wrong side.
Come on.
If you just put your indicators on,
Where?
I think.
Appearance.
Oh,
Zoom in. Is that better?
okay.
Or more? And I can turn on the lights in a second. We'll zoom in more. That should be good. Which one is this? Is that better? Okay, this one. Okay, so yeah, like I said, this. We'll talk about that in a second. It has post, get, delete. If for a post, it checks the JSON. If it has name and Candy, then it will update it and add it to the object up here.
I got the other side.
If it's a get, then it'll return a JSON request
We got your
back to whatever sent it. So it checks if it's in there, if it's in the original post, and if it is, then it will return it back. And if it's not, it'll return a 400 code. Those are HTTP response codes. There's
you need to ask
it
for
goes
that.
up to 400 or 500. There's a 600. I have no idea. The big one is 200 is an okay, 400 is it failed, but it connected.
What?
500 is like 505 is like a no response error. That means you didn't connect to the server at all. And then for delete, it obviously just deletes. It checks
I've gone in there. I've been like,
inside of if there it checks inside the
like,
JSON that was sent.
dumbass,
If
I just
the
asked for
name is there to delete,
Oh,
and then
Jesus.
if it is in
Why are you
the
giving
actual
me
Candy object,
twice as
then
many pizzas.
it will delete it
plates.
and it'll return if it's deleted successfully, or Candy not found. And if there's not a valid HTTP method,
No, I
or
understand.
you send something like
I'm also complaining
options request or a put, then it will fail.
There's a
You guys asked earlier what CORS is. CORS is just cross request. Basically, you will run into. So the funny thing about CORS, if you've ever done front end development, you probably have ran into a CORS request, especially with messaging APIs. The thing is you can't send requests from like localhost to localhost locked on the browser. So you have to allow it and do different things like weird things. Pizza's here, so I think we'll do pizza and then we'll move on to Postman. Oh, yes. No, you shouldn't. Because it'll break. It's just for a demo. It'll break. Because every time.
If we bring them up here, people form a line, and I'll be out of the way.
Okay. Yeah, but I wasn't thinking.
Everyone free to come up this side and grab a slice. There's no place. We'll be right back.
We could go get some napkins.
well.
It's not permanent storage. It's also separate.
Here, I can help with this if you want to get that. Yeah. And make sure you're only sharing one screen at a time. I don't know if it's gonna affect
Oh, here's more plates.
you. Thank you. Oh, where the fuck you get that?
Here's more.
Cool. We can break. Yeah, you get a big plate.
The bottom is also.
Yeah, awesome. SSD is going to be carbon neutral 2024.
Count them up. Count through some carbon.
Hey, is this how we get those carbon credits we were talking about?
This is a terrible place. Do you want to?
Yeah.
Y'all can use one of those too.
It should just be. Hold on. Yeah, it's sharing both. Whichever one you're not using. We're working on that. Yeah. How's it going? How's it going? We're anyone else for pizza? All right. Well, make sure we create plates this week.
I mean, honestly, like most people have a place they use.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, these are also.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
Oh, these.
That one's just.
We got Zeus. Hey, you can put more of the cardboards here, and then we'll make more. As needed.
No, I didn't call you that. I said it was a good place.
Oh wait, did I leave my phone there?
No, I didn't. This is in Python. Okay, so we have the API.
Make sure you got the mic to your mouth when you're talking, otherwise it's going to be muddy.
So we're gonna run the API now. Yeah. And then there we go. Now we got it. And we're gonna talk about Postman for a second. So Postman, basically, you can test APIs. You can see how the requests are being sent. You can get any type of request that you want. There's for any type of API, primarily web-based, but it's really where is it? Okay, so for this, for example, we're going to start off. Let me get rid of. You can see that. Okay, let's see. Okay, there we go. So here we have in Postman. You can have all the different requests. So we're going to do a get, and over here when we hosted it, it said on where it was. And if we go here and we send a get request, it says a blank JSON back because there's nothing there. But for example, if we post, and we go into the body and we say that send the JSON request the name, say then it's okay, and if we go back to get, we can get it. Wow. And if we want to say, what if she doesn't want an actual candy, and say, there, and it deletes it. And if we go back to the get, it's back to the thing. But cheers to those candy. But she wants, so now it's back to that. Crunch. It now updates to really amazing. And obviously, if there's no person there, candy not found, name not found, whatever it is. Anyway, Postman, amazing tool for testing APIs, testing stuff like that. I highly recommend it. Oh, we have to. So
we're using the API. Yes. We say a REST API statements. Okay. So, but in this case, we are making a post request and changing something on the server. So when we say stateless, what do we actually?
It means that so with stateless, it's less so about a connection is created each time we send this JSON request. There's nothing left in between from the two servers or the client and the server. Each time a request has gone through, all that's sent is the JSON. There's nothing left. And then the other thing is that a connection is made each time. Whereas if it's not stateless, we might have a constant connection, so we can constantly sending streams of information back and forth.
I want to add on to that. Another way to think of a stateless connection is that you're not storing any data on the server long term. So if you have anything that needs to be saved somewhere, it goes in the database. So one way to think about it is if your server just suddenly shut down, if your API is stateless, it means you're not going to lose any data because you're storing all the data somewhere else in the database.
Yeah. I'll also add on, one way to think of that is through authentication. When you're sending stuff to an API, and say you have, for example, an authentication token, you have to include that with every single request that you send to that API. It's not just, I got authenticated once and now I can trust, this client, basically. Think of it that way.
Do you have a question? Or so yeah. So we're going to be able to host this. We're going to use ngrok. It's not ngrok. Open it. But ngrok basically functions as here it is. Ngrok basically functions so you can port anything on your local host to the actual web. The only downside with it is it own URL each time. So if we go ngrok exe http 5000, because it's hosted 5,000. There it is. And now if we go here and we take this, and we put it in here, should just, yep. And it's the same thing. So let's just that. And there it is. It's there. So now you guys can access it if you want in a minute. Let me see. I wanted to, so now we're going to talk a little bit on, okay, talk about data. So now if I go onto my front end, my front end was built in Node.js. I have an environment variable down here. And I can update it. So it will know to parse through. So that's the URL. And there we go. And so we'll open up another terminal and we'll do demo. And it's hosted on. If you run it from you guys, I think I can post the GitHub in the. Should I post it? GitHub for Fullstack. Yeah. Where would it be? I'm trying to think. Yeah. There it is. So I'm gonna update this. Don't have your environmental variables public, people. Don't do that. It's just easy. And we're gonna run it. npm. You have to run npm install but for this, I already have everything. So I'm just gonna do npm run dev, and it's gonna be hosted. And there it goes. There she is. And here we can send other requests, so we can add other candy. So if CJ wants a Snickers bar, added, and there it is. And I'm not gonna let you guys see it. 5, 7. And it's good. So yeah, so it's basically a very simple. It's just a React app built with Node.js. We'll show it in a minute. Show the code. Oh, I have it. It's just an HTML. Here's the boring HTML of everything. But the big thing is it fetches candies when it starts, and anytime the page is reloaded, there's a add row, remove row for the delete, and that just sends it to the API. There's also the add candy box, which just submits it and sends it to the API as well as adds it locally. So it updates it quick. Do anything I add on that. Very simple. So now we're gonna go back to presentation. So now if any of you can get the Postman or into the or actually run the app, you can request a candy. And maybe you got it if I have it. Yeah, it should work. Yeah. Let's see. Where do I want to be? Yeah. There we go. We're good. Okay. Yeah. We're back. Okay. So yeah, Postman, it's a tool for testing, interacting with mainly web-based APIs. Helps test sending receiving data. You can write tests. And if it's mainly for request response APIs. So now we're going to talk about data. Stores data, typically text or numbers. There's CRUD operations, create, read, update, delete. You may have realized that is very similar to the HTTP methods of get, post, and delete. They coincide for a reason. There's two different types of databases, relational SQL and non-relational NoSQL. Relational stores scale rows, primary keys, everything simple. It uses SQL. You can use SQL that's the language to change the data. It's way better for structured data. For example, if we're building a directory and everybody has a UFID, name, an address, and a major, that's much better. SQL, Postgres, and SQLite. And then non-relational, it's much more for specific needs. For example, if you need a graph database, then you would use
Neo4j.
Neo4j. That's what I was looking for. It's because something like SQL will not do well for more complicated. There's larger amounts of data, but less structure. So the simplest comparison I could give, that isn't that good. So Fullstack, combination of all those things. It doesn't mean you have to do everything or have to know everything. It's more so you understand each and how they interact. So if you know that you need the type of app that you're going to build, you can decide what you're going to choose and what you're going to use for your development. As a leader, that's why they pay high for Fullstack. It's because they want you as higher as the person who's choosing what your team is going to be needing. For example, if you want a good web app, you could use Svelte, but if you're hiring a company and you want something, you're gonna not find as many Svelte people who know Svelte, so you might want to use something like React. Knowing what to choose is to fit your needs can save tedious time. Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna play a little game. Name the stack. So this is the most famous stack, LAMP. It was invented in '98. Linux is the operating system. Apache HTTP as the web server, and then it had MySQL as the database and PHP Python as the backend server. This was very popular for a very long time. This is a website that can share different stacks, because we're going to talk about it in a second, but there's hundreds of stacks. This website shows what different companies are using different stacks and what top websites are using and what the most popular technologies today are. Here's another one called the MERN stack. MongoDB, Express, React, and Node.js. MERN can be substituted with Mev or Mead. Instead of React, it can use Angular or Vue. It's very popular today, especially because these are some of the most popular tools. Yeah, that's a funny thing. You can literally just use Next.js as your entire full stack project. I don't recommend doing that, but it is an option. It has API tools, has a backend, and it has, pretty sure you can use a database. And then you're taking Dober's class, Angular, Golang. That's what he always wants you to use. And then you're supposed to use SQL files, but I know we just use a CSV file or the storage on a browser. So demo time. Yeah. Okay. Demo time. Yeah. That's the thing. So as you can see, we built a backend, we built a front end, but we're missing a database. So that's where. And I don't know enough about databases to build this. So I'm equipping built a database for my own needs. It's energy efficient. It's cheaper than AWS. Cloud operations, scalable, maintainable, average log n retrieval speed. The only thing is active 8 hours a day, like water, must be fed, and that's a short lifespan. CJDB, would you please go to the stand? So, CJDB, this is your responsibility. He has the can't. If you send a request either through Postman or the web server, it comes up. CJDB, our database will give you your candy through. If you want an API to hand out, just let me know. we can make one of those. Let's see. We have anything up here? What do we have there? Yeah. Okay. Wait. Share. Ah. No. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Yes, you can open the database. So, wait, no. Why is it? So, oh, why is it there? I don't care about. Bang, bang. Switch that. Okay, so what do we have? The whole bag of candy. Yeah, no, networking denied it. Sorry. Snickers. Is there a Snickers in there? What else is? What's in there? CJDB. It should.
Do you have your JWT?
I'm the network. I'm the. Okay. So. Name. Get name.
You'll need your authentication.
Governor. Localhost 3.
It should be base 64.
This is why you don't use CJDB.
Okay, we have Snickers, Three Musketeers, Milky Way, Twix, and Milky Way Midnight.
Ooh. So let's see what else we got here. What? Why? Where did they all go? Request has been succeeded. Thank you, CJDB.
No problem. All right, who else? Whole bag. Oh, we got a request.
Wait,
You have to reload it if it's.
you have to reload it.
Keep reloading. Go, go. Who wants to hear it?
Hey, let me get a Milky Way. Okay, add Milky Way, yeah.
Tell me in JSON form.
In JSON format.
Angel, the network denied your fallback. Haram, Snickers. You guys need help? Sending a request.
We should get someone from the audience, give them double candy. Can you do doubles on this?
Yeah, we can do triples.
Can you do doubles? Okay.
Oh, you know what? There's another. Oh, you need to specify.
That's right, we have no more requests.
No more, that's sad.
TJ, jump.
I'm getting it. I'm getting it.
Come on.
Can you make it through post?
Yeah, we can have to post, man. Sure, yeah. So, if you want to post man, you go into the body and you have to make name. Yeah, CJDB. Out of my screen. Back. TJ fire. Oh, but that's
CJ. That's too good.
Rama. You want candy? You want to put in a request? Send it to me in JSON format.
Open curly.
What do I do? What do I put here?
He has both. So he has
Hold on, my
Rock is like port forwarding basically. So it's just like he can do it with locals or he can do it with the port forwarding.
Wix. Right or left? CJDB. You're gonna get another request.
Okay, I need to play it.
Yeah. We'll give you some. Why is it wrong? Uh-oh. What? Failed to disclose data. You told me. Yeah.
No.
Now it's up there.
CJ got fired again.
CJ not fired. No.
Dracula request.
Do whatever you want.
What? Yeah. Yeah, the ngrok link. Yeah, name and candy. And then is it to the ngrok link? And then ngrok, is it \candy at the end? Because that's the path. Then it should go through. CJDB.
Hey.
CJDB, Alex, Snickers man.
By midnight.
I think that's a 404. Honestly.
Probably did.
What?
You deleted the what? Oh, yeah. Do you have the \candy at the end? Forward slash, yeah. There.
Yeah, okay, so, yeah.
It's in the bottom. There, I'll go. hockey. Angel, we don't have this. Max Snicker. Max. Siege. You know what?
Table candy. For real.
Professional delivery. Here, wait. CJDB. Quite disappointed.
I'm sorry.
You want two? Oh. All right. Let's see what we got. I heard impeach this. Me or him?
I think they're saying to impeach me.
You. Okay.
Dude, oh, damn.
Anybody didn't get candy and wants?
I got candy, but I want more.
Yeah. Over here. What do you want?
Candy?
Yeah.
Yeah, deleting 23,000. I'm just afraid that it's not
Slash candy.
Like it has like low.
Yeah.
Like it has like low, I guess.
Yo, Steven.
Steven.
Yeah, point slash.
Yeah. Efficiency of your website. This includes things like pretty handy though.
Those Steven. There's a lot of people.
Yeah. Go.
Is this it? Is this it? Yeah. Can I kill the recording? All right, cool.
All right. So before everybody heads out, we have a couple announcements. I don't want any of this. What is all this? Yeah, kill the meeting. Do that. Just go forward one.
Oh,
And then next week we have a special guest, Eric, ex-SSD president. He's coming to lead meeting. Go to the next meeting or else.
We will also have Chick-fil-A next week, so bring your hungry behinds over here.
all right. Oh,
You want to talk elections?
yeah.
How do I? Oh, are you have this over here? Can I stop the?
Yeah.
Dude, the controls disappeared from here. Okay, there we go. Stop.